I'm Tyler Bronski. I'm with pitcher for the Bridgeport Bluefish, Brian Moran. Now, Brian, baseball's something that's been in your family's blood forever. Your uncles played Major League Baseball, and obviously you have a brother that's pretty notable in the Major Leagues with the Houston Astros, Colin Moran. Growing up, what was kind of the competition and sibling rivalry like with your brother? When you pitched against him and he would hit against you, who would win most of the time?
Well, we played a lot of wiffle ball growing up. We haven't actually faced off since we've been pros or in college or anything. I'd like to think that I have the mental advantage from when we were younger, but yeah, he's my best pal. We talk all the time, and yeah, we have a great relationship.
Absolutely. Now, something about you that's a little bit different is your delivery. I lean towards saying sidearm-ish, but not really. Actually, your former teammate Kyle Seager described it well. He said it was almost like a shot put, your release. So can you speak on how you think your delivery makes you effective and like kind of deceptive to hitters? And does that ever put like a strain on your body pitching with that type of delivery?
That's a good question. I've always had kind of a quirky arm angle. Last year, I actually lowered it a little bit to be hopefully a little bit more effective on lefties, and I think it's worked. It's made my breaking ball a little bit better, more of a swing and miss pitch. But I've always had kind of a weird delivery. It feels smooth, but when you look at it on video, it looks a little funny. But I like to think that I'm able to hide the ball with that delivery, and that's why I'm able to get some swing and misses even without the high level velocity. But yeah, it's something that's always been part of my game, and it could, I guess, put a little bit more strain. It's a good question. I've had the Tommy John surgery, which I feel great now, but everything feels great now, so knock on wood.
Absolutely. Now, being a lefty reliever specifically, kind of one of your roles is you don't have to pitch too many innings, but it seems like you could be pitched in a lot of games, consecutive games, maybe 3 out of 4 in a series. So what's that kind of like for you? Do you ever worry about the usage rate? Have you ever had a season where you kind of thought maybe I'm being used too much? Like, can you sense that as a pitcher?
No, I feel like here with Bridgeport, we play a little bit more. We have more roles in the bullpen as opposed to an affiliated ball. Sometimes you will pitch your 2 innings. Kind of the score doesn't necessarily dictate your usage. Where here, like a team like Lancaster that has a couple lefties, that'll be like an active series for me. But I enjoy the way that they've been using me, even in that specialty role. I think it's fun. It's a short period of time and you're available every day, so it kind of keeps you in the game.
Now, you're with the Seattle Mariners organization for a while, from 2009 and 2015. When you think of coaches and players from your time there with the Mariners, who do you think of when you think of guys that have really impacted your career, and how so?
Well, I probably spent the most time playing almost all the way up with Lance Painter was a very good pitching coach that I've had. He's still over with Tacoma. Rick Waits was the coordinator. I enjoyed my experience with Seattle. I felt like I learned a lot as both a pitcher and a person. Yeah, I definitely have gotten some good instruction. Just kind of, the game teaches you a certain amount, and then kind of supplemented with that is the little experiences or the input from the coaches and things like that.
Now, last year you started your first year with the Bridgeport Bluefish. Had a really good year for them. One of the probably the best relievers in the bullpen last year before you got picked up by the Atlanta Braves. When you got the call that Atlanta wanted to sign you, how special of a moment was that for you? Were you kind of expecting it, or were you surprised at all when you heard the phone call, because you were pitching well at the time?
It definitely was a very cool experience. It being my first year in the league, you don't necessarily know what to expect. It does seem like kind of a wild idea that out of the blue somebody's just going to call and you're going to head to AAA. That seems like unheard of, but it happened, and it was very cool. Hopefully he'll get another opportunity at some point. It was a very cool experience.
I hope so.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Now, last year with Gwinnett, you guys were fortunate enough to actually be part of the International League playoffs. When you were with Bridgeport, you guys were pretty close to making a playoff push, and then you're fortunate enough to go to a team like Gwinnett where you go over the hump and you're in the playoffs. What is the playoff experience like with the Gwinnett Braves? Just kind of the atmosphere, the experience of just being in the playoffs. Your hard work pays off, you know.
Yeah, that was very cool. We made the playoffs on the last day, where we won the division in Charlotte. Charlotte is a cool stadium and a good atmosphere, so that was a cool place to clinch, and you get to do the champagne shower and everything like that. It was a cool culmination of the entire season. But the playoffs was a great experience too, because the minor leagues can be so individualized on people coming and going every day. But during that playoff experience, you're kind of a one unit that is just working towards the same goal. So it has a cool feel to it. Yeah.
Now, this offseason, you're part of the Rule 5 draft. You went from Atlanta to Baltimore, something you've experienced before in your career too. I'm going to be honest, I don't know too much about the Rule 5 draft. I'm sure there's a lot of fans out there that are kind of confused as well. Can you explain what the process is like for the Rule 5 draft? What type of players are part of that draft? And did you know you were eligible again this year in the offseason to be part of that draft?
That's a good question. It's something that I've learned about because I've been through it actually 3 times. But I know that there's a major league portion and a minor league portion. And after the 2013 season, I was taken in the major league portion. I moved over to the Angels, and then the last 2 years I've been involved in the minor league portion, which basically it's just you go from one team to the next. There's not really any change in contract situation or anything like that. It came as a big surprise to me. Okay. That's for sure. Yeah.
Now, this spring training, you spent time with the Baltimore Orioles. You actually appeared in 5 big league spring training games, 3 really good outings for you, and then the last couple are a little tough. How would you describe your spring and your mindset going in with the Orioles, and what did they tell you, or why do you think they made the decision to go release you instead of maybe putting you at AAA or sending you back to Atlanta?
Well, I don't know. I can't speak for them, unfortunately, but it was a great experience. I was fortunate enough to back up a bunch of major league games, and I got into 5 of them. The 3 that went well, I really felt like I was able to, show myself that I can pitch like in that type of environment. Sure. And it was a great experience. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but hopefully it'll help me in the future. Yeah.
Final question for you, Brian. I know this offseason you worked a lot with Driveline Baseball a little bit. They really helped increase your velocity. I know last year you're around like 83, 85 on your fastball. This year you're like 88, 80 to 91. So what are some of the things you worked with them to maybe improve your game a little bit, your velocity, just some of the training regimen you did over there?
It's I really enjoyed working with Driveline. Their program, it definitely works. I after I got let go last year, I still had not completely gotten my velocity back from after Tommy John surgery, and a former teammate of mine, Casey Weathers, kind of recommended it to me. He's big on involved with them, and it's been great. Yeah, I've been up there 2 times, and I've learned a whole lot, and I've been able to implement it into my throwing program, and I've been able to see good results. So, hopefully it'll continue. Maybe I'll continue to progress even further. So, I'm very grateful to have been able to find them and be able to use their stuff.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Brian, so much, and just all the best to you this season with the Bluefish. All right.
Definitely.